And then you sign on, and AOL is like, welcome, you've got mail. I was like, do I have mail? I didn't even know I had an email address. Welcome back to another episode on the Big Dane podcast. How was your Halloween weekend? Did you end up dressing up, or what did you end up doing with all the candy? Maybe you just turned off your light and be like, I'm not home. But we know you are home because it's COVID, right? Yeah, so let me know what you end up doing. Maybe you dressed up something fun or something you just had in the basement, just wanted to repurpose, because what are you gonna do? Matt and I we bought these t-shirts on Amazon for like a 90s cartoon outfit. So originally we were supposed to be the characters from Real Monsters. He was going to be Crumb, the guy that holds the eyeballs, right? And he has his armpit hair just sticking out. And then I was going to be Ickis, the little, kind of looks like he has little bat ears. And he's that kind of fuchsia reddish color. And so I kept checking in, and I had ordered this a couple weeks ago, because when I was trying to look for something more specific like this for Halloween, everything that I saw was November 15th. And I thought, the hell, I need this now. So, and it wasn't the day before I ordered it either. It was plenty of time. And then they had sent me an email saying, oh yeah, it'll be here Saturday, which was the Saturday before Halloween. And then I get another update and was saying oh, your shipment is delayed and is going to be late. And I thought, wait a second, how is it going to be late? It was originally supposed to be here on the 28th, but then you said it was early from when it was supposed to be there that Saturday. So now it's considered late? So now I was trying to look into it, and it never really updated again. So it had an option for to refund everything. So I was like, all right, I guess I'll do that. And in the meantime, how can I find something that kind of still has the characters? I knew I wasn't gonna get it that specific for just Ickis and just Crumb as two different t-shirts. So I ended up finding these really cool, as a collage 90s shirts. And because the other part was, I end up getting these cool pins, really cool pins from Etsy, and one was Ickis and one was Crumb. So I was like, oh duh, we could just put these on our masks and be golden. So that was the other side. I'm well, I still want to use the pins, so we have to somehow still be these characters in a way. So it's kind of like a 90s cartoon mashup / our individual characters. So it all worked out, and I end up pulling the trigger there on that t-shirt just on, I think it was Thursday, I want to say, and then it arrived Friday. So I was holy shit, just in time. So heyo. One other update that, in case you didn't see, but I finally got my tattoo. Yeah, the sugar skull. I know I was kind of calling it candy skull, but all the same, roughly the same idea. Or in Spanish, it's calavera. Yeah, because that means skull. So yeah, super pumped, and I got that at Ace of Swords. So that was my first tattoo, and I honestly was expecting way worse. I'm holy shit, this is gonna be terrible. I'm thinking when Moo or Lydia scratches us, but you can't even really compare it to anything because it's its own pain. So, but it didn't even feel like a cat scratch. Like that to me seems like worse if you keep getting scratched over and over and over. You know what I mean? So it almost reminded me like just because of the tool that they use to put on the ink, it's kind of like vibrating a little, so you get kind of like those sensations. Like, so I got it on my leg, so you get that sensation on your skin. So I was like, oh, it's like a little massage, right? Little painful massage. And then yeah, it's kind of like these little movements, right? Just kind of going back and forth. And then in between, one of my friends from softball, she owns her own shop, Ace of Swords in Huntington Valley. So yeah, so it was nice to, have her do it. And so in between, and I don't know the technique or the purpose really, but I'm thinking just to kind of continue on the ink and the outline of, whatever you're creating. And so she has to like wipe it, in between. So literally that half a second is like a second of like relief, like, okay, like I'm good, I'm still good. I had actually like taken a break to like pee real quick. So at that point it had been maybe getting close to 2 hours. And I will say when I got back, I was like, and she started again, I was like, oh, this kind of hurts again. So, if you don't need that break, don't take it. But yeah, so overall it took 2.5 hours, but I love it. And yeah, it's fun, and I wanted to get it because I really like the idea of the Day of the Dead tradition, which I kicked off, and just kind of, bringing those memories back from your loved ones. So anyway, that's my spiel, and I know I'm starting to wander off about my tattoo, but I definitely want to do a dedicated episode on tattoos. So, all right, let's get into it. We're gonna kind of go back in time for a second, and let's just remember the good old days when we didn't have as much technology, and kind of remembering the 90s a little bit. I mean, who can remember, of course, the great dial-up that we had, and trying to get on the internet, but then like your sibling or your mom or dad's like, but Frank is about to call. And then it's like, well, what the hell? Like, I just got on the internet here. Like, you couldn't have given me a heads up. And, the iconic sound of the and then you sign on and AOL is like, welcome, you've got mail. I was like, do I have mail? I didn't even know I had an email address. Right? So, I mean, you're a kid. So anyway, you remember all those noises and sounds, and but it was just crazy back then because that's literally how it worked. Like, you could not be on the internet while you were trying to like receive a call, because that's how it worked. You had to dial into that same number to get to the internet. So, and I remember, like, I think it was 7th grade, and the assignment was to like write a persuasive essay, and I thought, I've got this one. I'm gonna write about, telling my parents that they should be buying a DSL modem, because that was the next step from dial-up and faster internet. And then you didn't have to worry about like waiting for someone to call, or if you had to call someone, it would just that eliminated. So how cool was that? And it's crazy just to like go through all that experiences like together and as a family, as a society, and that's how we adapted. Or how about even like, given the landline and whatnot, you knew everyone's number, all your best friends, maybe even a new friend you just met at school or in class. And it's like, I know their number. It's in the back of my brain. And you would just shoot it off, and it was like easy as that. Now it's like, I don't know anyone's number. But I do know my family's. numbers because that hasn't changed since like over 15 years. So that is pretty nice that none of us had changed our number. But even I would say, how about just the joy of someone calling you at your house and saying, like, maybe your mom picked up, your dad picked up, maybe your brother or sister, and it'll be like, Dane, Dane, Sally's on the phone. And then like, okay, let me, pick it up down here. Maybe I was downstairs and I'd pick it up downstairs or whatever you were, wherever you were in the house. But then there was other times where, you know what, maybe you didn't want to talk to Sally. No, you weren't in the mood. You weren't feeling it. So you run to wherever whoever picked up the phone, and you're acting it out. Now you're playing charades, like, what am I doing? Like, oh, did you not? Oh, yeah, I don't want to. So then it's like, oh, well, she just went outside to play, so she'll call you back later or whatever it was. So, but it was just kind of the idea of like, wow, like someone's calling me at our house and, wants to hang out or like get together or even just talk on the phone. And now it's such a different experience. And I remember I thought this was like the coolest thing. This must have been maybe like beginning of middle school or something. And my parents like, okay, like you can get your own phone. So I was able to have a cordless phone. Yeah, forget all that coil and the cord just wrapping around like the entire house. And I got to pick out the color. So of course it was like a lime green, like clear phone, so you could see all the gears and wires in the phone. Like, why was that a thing back then? I don't know. That was a trend, I suppose, and I selected it. So that was like the highlight, I feel like, before like, cell phones, before we had even cell phones, right? So just kind of crazy, just kind of taking a step back and, versus where we are today with all the cell phones and smartphones and so much more technology than what we had. Oh, and then what about, I'm just remembering back with the internet, and now you're on and you somehow you're looking to get into a chat room. I don't even remember like exactly why was that a thing? Like, and you have to like pretend, not really give yourself away, so to speak, as far as, you don't want people to know your information. I mean, back then it was like, do not tell people anything, make shit up, right? Like, okay, like, all right, I guess I'm 42 in this chat room and I have curly hair and I love jazz music. Like crazy stuff. But how about making all those ridiculous sounds to send into the chat room? Like maybe it was like a door just closed. So it'd be like Alt plus 78569 exclamation point, enter. And it'd be like bloop, 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 bloop. And it'll just like shoot out. And like you would just constantly do it and try all these different combinations to see what was going to spit out. I'm surprised we didn't even like write some of them down. I think then we probably remembered some basic ones like welcome or goodbye. And that would be that. But the chat rooms back then was so interesting. We don't have something like that really today. I mean, the closest thing that I could think of, maybe if you're playing video games online and like they're somewhat similar in the sense you're just talking to random people, so a little bit different because you're not like really typing the entire time, but just so funny because now, yeah, it's just not there. I mean, although I haven't really looked for a chat room because why would I? That just, it screams like stalker, psycho. You know, if you're trying to stay alive, do not go on there. So, how about that? But I don't know. I mean, back then it just seemed easy, and you're just thinking about, you're just concerned and worried about yourself, and like you don't care about like what everyone's doing at this second, at this time of the day, in this restaurant. You just kind of enjoyed it. And I remember just being outside all the time and playing sports, and even during the summer we would play like capture the flag and manhunt and all these things. And it just kind of goes back to like real conversations, instead of being on a phone trying to like communicate through these words that you can't even express your true emotions. And I think also, being a kid and teenager, then, to kind of relate in a way to the phone, it's like, oh, well, get off your Game Boy Pocket, Oh, wait, is that a Game Boy Color? Wait, can I see it? Or, your parents would kind of tell you like, all right, like, we're at the restaurant, you could put your Donkey Kong game away, you could finish the level later. I remember my parents always saying like, well, can you save it? But can you save it? Are you at a checkpoint? I'm like, not yet. Like, no, I'm not there. Like, we gotta just tumble through the jungle and karate chop all these nonsense people. But yeah, but really, that's what it was. We had our handheld games with us, taking it everywhere. And, now it's like games on your phone everywhere. And I'm sure that's probably pretty intense now with kids and teenagers. But I don't know. It's like you start to, now it's like you get tired, at least I do. I get tired of texting. I'm like, I don't care what you're doing every single minute of the day. Like, shut up. Like, why don't you just call me later? Give me a call like we used to do when you would call the landline. Now pretend that landline is my cell phone, my mobile. You know what I'm saying? Because why not? I think we all forget that a conversation is so much more deeper, so much more understanding. You can hear someone's voice and how they're reacting and everything. Like a text, if you're not using exclamation points and, using 20 emojis, then that appears to look like you're just being serious and perhaps mad. But it's true. I don't know. Now I've been trying to use more of the audio text, which I enjoy. So, plus, you gotta save your thumbs. Your thumbs are like, what the fuck? Like, you put me through how many years of this shit now? Like, use your voice. I'm like, all right, I hear you. So then, my friends and I have been starting to do that a little bit more. And it's nice with the iPhone that since we all have it, you can do that right there in the text. Because I realized I try to like send my sister-in-law like a voice text, but it's not like right in there. So then it's like, now I have to go into the voice memo and record and then upload it, such a process. But again, it all comes back to picking up the phone and just chatting. And back then I feel like time, it didn't seem so fast. Like everything seemed a little bit more slow because we had time to have real conversations with each other and have that company. And now it's like fast. Like, we gotta go here, we gotta go there, we gotta go to Dunkin', we gotta get my pumpkin spice latte, I gotta come back, do the dishes, and then shoot a text to so-and-so about tonight, when maybe, I don't know, you had already dedicated time to call this person. So it just goes to show you how much of an impact technology has and its influences. I mean, it in a way it doesn't seem that long ago that we were there, and now here we are, and so much has changed. So much. I mean, who would have thought the internet was just gonna take off? I mean, damn, I should have put some stock in there. But hey, I was a kid. So really goes to show you how things and technology impact our society and how we learn just to adapt it. And then it's like once you adapt to it, you forget of what you used to do, because then those items and influences are gone, they're outdated, they're non-existent. We don't have dial-up anymore. Like who's using that? Like caveman, the Geico caveman, maybe, but really. And yeah, I mean, again, overall, it's just, to me, it almost seemed more simplified back then, where like, well, you only have, it's almost like choices. You only have one choice, or you only have one option, and this is it, and that's the only option. And you learn from it, and then you kind of go on with your day, and that's it. Now we have like trillions of options and varieties, all different kinds of phones. And then you have to adapt in different ways from that. I mean, sure, like, I'm sure they have like very few flip phones now, but everything is a smartphone, and everything is literally on your phone. And which means everyone is on your phone, and leads to just the constant like notifications, things popping up in your face 24/7, because people are saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Hey, this is what I'm doing. I'm going down here. We're going to go pick up some beer, some craft beer, gonna do a cake stand, maybe pick some apples, and then to top it off, we're gonna sit back and have wine in the tub. But again, back then it was, all right, well, I guess I'll use the dial-up for 20 minutes, so then my brother can hop on and use it for 20 minutes, and then that would open up the phone line. Imagine that. But it's just wild. I mean, how many people miss that, just kind of like the slowness of society, and it doesn't matter what people are doing. It's just kind of like almost the unknown, which is kind of like more exciting in a way. Like, oh, like, is Jennifer gonna call me today? I don't know. What's Jennifer doing? I don't know, because where would I look that up? Yeah. So, nothing's being tracked of where this person might be, because we just had, slim to none back then with technology. And then I even remember when my parents even got cell phones. Oh, they had like the first cell phone, and it had this like large antenna, but we just like kept it in the car for like emergencies. Like, I don't even think they even used it. And who knows? Like, I wonder how much that really costs. It's probably a lot, because if it first came out, it's like, here's a cell phone, but like we only had one cell phone. It's like, what kind of good purpose is this? Because if we have one cell phone, you can't call each other. So what are you calling? AAA? AAA, can you call my husband? Like, what? So yeah, and then they end up getting, after that, the classic Nokia, and my dad's phone, he had just like the plain black on the front, and then my mom's had like silver, so we could like identify like whose was whose. And then literally like in a waiting room, we're going here, we're going this doctor's appointment, the dentist, maybe now we're back at the restaurant and Donkey Kong is over, so now I want to play Snake. So how about that? Just playing some Snake, just eating all the food that the snakes eat, the little dots. And that was that. That was the game to play. But I want to hear your thoughts. What do you miss anything about just that time period? And obviously, I don't miss the dial-up, but the concept of not being in the moment and having the true conversations, being with family, friends, like in those amazing experiences, instead of like liking this picture, liking that picture. Oh my God, did you see her picture? Like, why did she even post that? Like, she looks hideous. Like, no. So let me know your thoughts. Just want to hear kind of like your take and technology and all the influences and influencers. Psych. So, but yeah, give me a shout out. So you could go to the website, thebigdanepodcast.com/contact. There you will see a little section. Okay, you go fill out your name, your last name, your email, and put your message in there. And just hit send the note, and I will receive it. Yeah, because now with technology, we can do these things, right? Or how about staying on the website, going to the podcast section. So if you're looking for that URL, thebigdanepodcast.com/podcast. Once you are there, go to subscribe and select your preferred platform: Google, Spotify, Apple, and Stitcher. Yeah, so just do it. You can do it. I believe in you. And if you have 30 seconds after you listen to one of my episodes, please go to ratethis.com/thebigdanepodcast. Then I can see like how cool of a review you made, and it'll just be fabulous. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, got you thinking of what we have today, what we didn't have, and how all of this is impacting us. And like, oh my gosh, what is going to be happening in the next like 10 years? Like this is just going crazy. All right, oh, hello. All right, I was about to say, all right, my peeps, all right, my friends. So, all right, my peeps, have a lovely week, and I'll see you later. Peace out.